Yeah, YouTube cut me off, so I'm gonna start again. I want to share this with you guys. Yeah, Rahu back to the world. Government tracking. Bill Gates and other globalists, in collaboration with pharmaceutical companies, are reportedly working to push tracking bracelets and invisible tattoos to monitor Americans during an impending lockdown. MIT and Gates have created an ink that can be safely embedded in skin alongside the vaccine itself, and it's only visible using a special smartphone camera app and filter. This comes just days after Gates stepped down from Microsoft's board. And I want to share this as well. Nostradamus wrote in the year 1551 this: there will be a twin year, 2020, in brackets, a twin year, from which will arise a queen, brackets Corona, who will come from the east, brackets China, and who will spread a plague, brackets virus, in the darkness of night on a country with 7 hills, Italy, and will transform the twilight of men into dust, brackets death, to destroy and ruin the world. It will be the end of the world economy as you know it. Yeah? And this is why I'm saying, make sure you're stocking up on your food and that, and just don't trust your governments. Don't trust what the governments are saying, what Donald Trump's saying about this vaccine, about it. He's self-said on the telly, it might work or it might not work. So if they're telling you themselves it might not work, that's like somebody coming with an injection outside your house, knocking your door and telling you, yo, take this injection, it will give you superpowers. It might work, but it might not. You understand? It's like dumb shit like that. Like, don't trust these governments, man, especially when it comes to your children. Don't be letting them give your children none of this stuff. It's like I keep mentioning, you watch I Am Legend, and I've always been a big fan of telling people in my work, my writings and my lectures, that Hollywood's job was to prepare the world for what's about to come. So now you guys have got all this time on your hands. I've got some stain on you. Now you guys have got all this time on your hands. When you're not reading and doing your research, when you want to break from all of that kind of stuff, make time to just rewatch some of these movies that we're talking about, you know, post-apocalyptical movies and apocalypse movies like 2012 and even The Matrix and stuff. But Surrogates with Bruce Willis in there. Also, these movies that they said mentioned Corona before, like it's wise for us to watch them again. Dig them out, have a watch of them again. I'll go through my file because I've just woke up. I've not even had breakfast yet, as Ralph Smart would say. Yo, it's not in my head at the moment, but bear with me and I'll do an update where I put up some of these movies that were actually telling us how it's going to be in the end of the world and shit. Whether it's the Blade Runner kind of movies, even the Hunger Games, and the what's the other one? The Maze Runners and stuff like that. But all of these movies were giving us little parts and pieces as to what was coming, what was being planned for us all along, and it was passed off to us like it was just some kind of fantasy thing. But like I was telling people all along, Hollywood, that word, why they use that word there, some of you may know already, but it's to do with magic and Merlin, because Merlin, who was the wizard in the story of King Arthur, but also before the story of King Arthur, Merlin featured in the story of Nimrod in Babylon and was one of Nimrod's advisors. But anyway, Merlin used to cast spells on people using a wand. But the point is, the wand was made out of Hollywood or Holywood, and that Hollywood was used for casting spells. So that Hollywood is used to cast spells on you, meaning it's used to do predictive programming, subliminal seduction and stuff like that. And we're not aware of it because we've never been taught that about TV. You're just taught that you buy TV and you watch the things that you like on tele. But if you was to study the science and the psychology behind the effects of excessive hours of TV and so much dependence on TV, you would actually see that it has an effect on human beings and their mind states and their behavioral patterns. All of these technologies cause a paradigm shift. Even I was watching a couple of documentaries last night, and they was saying that the reason why they made it so easy for us to have these smart devices, because remember, if we go back like 20-30 years and these devices came out, they would cost like, thousands of, put it this way, the normal working people, everyday people, we wouldn't be able to afford them so easy and buy credit and all that. they did that deliberately because they realized that they need to get one of these smart devices into every person's hand. Whether you can't buy bread living in Africa or Venezuela and you don't have food, most people, even if they're starving, they got that smartphone in their pocket. So already we're not humans no more. We're like androids. You depend on that smartphone. You can't put it down. How many of us could go weeks, just leave your smartphone in a drawer turned off and go weeks without it? Your whole life is conjoined with the fucking smart devices. And because we've got an aura, the same as a corona, or aura, which is an electromagnetic field that surrounds the body, we call it in Egyptian language or Nuwabic language, halut or tepi heps. It's your aura. Every living thing has an electromagnetic shell or charge. Even the earth has that around it. Do you understand? So they already knew that with these extremely low frequency electric smart devices, if you put man in make his world, just put all these towers up and there's all these frequencies around it, and Wi-Fi and phone masts and whatever else, and we're just in a field of increased electromagnetic frequencies of a varied nature. It actually, they found out it actually has an effect on human beings and dumbs us down. It restricts the way that we process information, and there's been tests to show that if you go back every 10 years, society gets dumber and dumber. The way it's harder for people to process things today. Certain things we get told on the news or we get told in school to learn and stuff in colleges and unis, it's harder for us as humans today to process that information than it was going back 30, 40 years ago. And that's because we're in a case of having all of these smart devices, which means we have dumb humans. So more dumb humans. So it's like saying we got more mosques than ever, more churches than ever, etc. But we got less humanity than ever. So we got more religion than ever, but we got less humanity than ever. We got more music than ever, but we got music with no meaning. There's less meaning than ever. It don't mean nothing. Some of the tunes come out, you don't even know what's being said in the song. You just dancing along to the memory, the melody and a catchy hook. Yeah. So my point is, everything is here to distract you. Even the news, they want you to panic. They want you to, even though they're going on like they don't want you to panic, they want you to panic. Do you understand? It's their job to cause the panic to the extent where the people or the forces or the cabal or the fucking reptilians can bring the control, because that's all the fear is going to lead to ever is control. So I just wanted to say to people, man, stay ahead of the game and don't be trusting none of these Draculas, these politicians and stuff, man, because this world is never going to go back to what it was before, simply because the old system has to go. And even though it don't seem that way, they've got a deadline. They've got, Mother Nature's gave them a deadline. All of these low vibrational frequencies where they'll be wiped off the planet. What they're trying to do is take you with them. They're trying to get you tuned into their vibration of fear and panic and chaos and no compassion and all of that kind of stuff. So you will go with them. Anybody that vibrates on that frequency is going to have to go with them. Do you know what I mean? Because one world's going and a new world's coming. So it's even beyond religion. It's not about what religion you are or beliefs or none of that shit. It's about we humans have got one last chance. We're all humans. We've got one earth. Do you understand? And regardless of what colour you are, you got good and bad people in all colours. Now is the time for humanity to grow up, and we're only getting one chance at this growing up, because the ignorance that has carried on for so long and nobody's opposed it, something like this had to happen to expose how fucked up we'd become as humans. I don't think human beings are humans no more. So the end of the world already happened. Maybe it did happen on 2012, December the 21st gone, where we became so attached to technology and stuff that we're slaves to the technology. It's not serving us. It's not giving us no new cures and stuff to solve the problems of the world. Look how much advanced science and medicine we've got, but we've still got all of these people dying. We've still got all of these homeless people. We've still got people that have absolutely no prospects or nothing, and people have been dying. Let me just finish on this. What white people need to realize: non-white people have been dying from viruses, from bombing campaigns, from fucking Western sanctions, from rape, from child slavery, the list goes on. Yeah, they've been polluting the air, all types of shit. Non-white people have been dying, black people, Asian people, indigenous people dying from the most grievous fucking stuff. And none of the Western nations, England, America, France, Germany, Belgium, Monaco, Sweden, none of these places care about all of these non-white people that die every day. As soon as white people in the West start dying from this coronavirus, this biological mess, because it's white people, the whole world must stop. Everybody must stop, go in your fucking house, lock the door, yeah, and it can't be business as usual. If it's not, if everyone else is dying and white people ain't dying, business as usual. Their world carries on. But as soon as their world starts feeling the effects of the backlash, because like I told you, they lost control of this shit. They lost control a long time ago. They didn't expect it to start hitting actors and sports and fucking royal families and politicians. Do you understand? That's when you know, yo, this has gone out of control, where they've had to close down Wall Street, the stock market, sport. This is their money makers. They don't shut shop for no one. They've closed the whole world because it's backfired. They've lost control. Do you understand? And now Mother Nature and the ancestors are going to take over. And people are going to see, all them times they were calling people conspiracy theorists and, oh, you lot believe in this and believe in that and reptilians and aliens. You watch this space, but don't just sit and watch and buy into the panic. You make sure you prepare yourself and are able-minded and able-bodied enough to protect your loved ones. You understand? Because that's what I'm going to do. I don't fear nothing. I'm a dragon slayer. So reptiles can jump out the sky and wrestle them and put a few of them in a headlock. I'm not saying this to be funny. Do you understand? I'll go out dying as a martyr, protecting my family. Easy. Do you understand? But 85% of humanity is not ready for what fucking time it is. Mark my word. Yeah? So just take that message with you and stay safe, people. Yeah, because I feel like every day I need to reach out to humanity. Anyone that wants to have a chat, like I keep saying, add my Facebook page, Djedefre Memnon KKR360. Add me on Instagram. Add me on Snapchat if you like. Kush DSFL. Do you understand? Email me at memnonkkr360@gmail.com. You know what I mean? If you ever want to have a chat or you're struggling through this period here, I'm here for you, because I feel like this moral compassion and stuff is what we lost in the world, because we stopped being humans and people stopped being caring and embrace the ways of the Neanderthal or the Caucasian man's world, where there's just money but no compassion. So the people that need the money don't get it, and the people that don't need the money in the system just sit down on it and call themselves royal families and aristocrats and nobles and politicians and business tycoons and whatnot. Like this whole world order that's been running for 6,000 years under a spell of subconscious sleep, which is a form of racial and spiritual amnesia. This was broken in 2004 by Noble Dr. Malachi York, whether you like to hear it or not. He was the only one that was talking about all the little interconnected things and connected them together, and wrote over 450 books, to the point where they had to fabricate lies on him, lock him up on some false bullshit, and now people still can't see, like, how right does a man have to be? Do you understand? I've spoken about these things for years under ridicule, coming from an Islamic family, with a lot of my family members still stuck in that stagnant form of thinking, without sounding like I'm out to offend anybody. But none of them religions in detail really prepared us for what's going on. The only way you can prepare for what's going on is to rely on yourself and be your own salvation, and not wait for no spook god to float out the sky or send somebody else. Take responsibility for your own safety, your own actions, and let's do something about this shit, man. I'm ready. I hope you're ready too. Hotep.